right, people. I'm here to give you guys my review on the TV series 100. Love that show. Okay. The show starts out with you have people in a spaceship that they call the Ark. All right. Um, Basically, what happens was they ended up on the Ark because of radiation. Something happened on Earth, and basically the elite got their people and some wealthy people that became the working class on the Ark. All right, and they went out of space to go live, and they were sustaining, um, you know, the human race. Okay, because they feel that those that stayed was dead. They was wiped out by the radiation. Okay. Now, while they're on this ship, they basically has this commander and different things, rules and all this other stuff. And people that got in trouble, they was sent floating. Okay. Some of the kids was lucky that they was under 18 and they was scheduled to go floating when they was 18. Floating is basically sending them to their death. They open up the ship door and throw them out, all right? And the reason that the punishment was so harsh for petty crime was because, they was low on food and to save oxygen, okay? Now, instead of sending those kids floating, they made the decision to send the kids to Earth because they had a little time to live. Now, Clark's dad was sent floating because he was trying to warn the people that we don't have much time to live. Supplies running short, everything is running short. They've been there in that spaceship 100 plus years, okay? Um, so that's why they made the decision to put the bracelets on the kids to monitor their heart and everything that they're doing so they can know in space if it's livable or if it's not. Like if they get here and the radiation just wipe them out. However, but it didn't because by them being out of space for so long, it changed the DNA, okay? But we're going to wait to get into that. So they get here, the kids get here. Bellamy, which is Octavius' brother, he shot the commander to go protect his sister. Now, the reason he was so protective of his sister because his mother was sitting float. She was sitting floating off the ship because she gave birth to Octavia. Okay, they hid Octavia in the floor. That's why they call her the flow girl. Okay, you was only allowed to have one child. When they found Octavia, they sent the mother floating. Okay, and she was on that ship to Earth for no more than being a second child. Okay, um, so they get here, the kids get off that boat, and they was just running around, doing what they want to do. And you had like Bellamy and Clark. There was just like instant leaders. Okay, you can tell the way the kids was acting. They was just doing whatever, having sex, whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay, that they needed to be governed. I guess they were so used to being governed that they needed a ruler. Okay, they needed someone to look to answer to. So, um, Bellamy takes charge. All right. Um, Clark, Jasper, forget the Chinese guy, and no, the Chinese guy did not go. Jasper, best friend, he stayed because he was, he's very smart with electronics, and that's what Clark little leader role kicked in at because she was like, okay, you good with electronics. You stay here, you work on the ship, try to get us some type of connection to speak to, the people on the Ark. The Ark is the spaceship, all right? So her and four more others go. Spacewalker and someone else. They goes on to go explore, right? Because they got to find Mount Weather. They got dropped off at the wrong location. Good thing they did, right? So they goes to go find Mount Weather, and Jasper gets shot with a spear. All right. So they come back and they like, hey, we just got attacked. They got Jasper. Jasper was shot. We're not the only ones here. And so they shocked because the radiation was supposed to kill everyone on Earth. But you have some people that lived, okay? And they call those people the grounders, all right? So Um, they had no artillery or anything, but they was going back. They heard a yell, so they was going back to find Jasper. Okay, they find Jasper. And they had patched Jasper up or whatever. They shot him. They passed him up. It was some type of poison or whatever. Okay, so they get Jasper. They bring him back, and they end up getting a connection with the people in the sky. Okay, on the ark. And the people on the ark was telling them, hey, you got to get to such and such spot. There's an old army base. They have some artillery. This, that, and third. So they goes and get guns and things because you know they have they basically going to war. Okay, so um they get the guns and they out exploring and things like that, and they end up shooting some of the grounders. All right. They end up capturing a grounder, Lincoln. All right. Lincoln, and the reason that they had captured this grounder because Octavia had got um, taken up by a grounder, okay? And that grounder was Lincoln. Lincoln saved her life, all right? Um, and they basically capture Lincoln and they trying to torture him, trying to get him to talk. This, that, and the third, all right? He wasn't going, and he had these potions on them, and they was like, which one is this potion to heal Jasper, all right? So basically, um, he had saved Octavia life. So Octavia, like, he's not gonna let me die or whatever. So she cut herself and he ended up talking, telling them which one it was, okay? So they realized he could speak English. And he was like, what? He can speak English. Which. So, um, she ended up freeing Lincoln, okay? But they was already, finna going to war with the Grounders. Now, what happens is um, it was Octavia and Lincoln. Okay, Octavia been sneaking out in the bushes to go see Lincoln or whatever. So she basically want to call a truce with the Grounders. They got some artillery, but they don't really have that much ammo. This is standard third. So they really not trying to go to war. And these are the kids. They not like the people in the sky. Okay, so they trying to prevent going to war with these people. But Anya wasn't having it. Anya was like, nope, it's war. All right. Now, in the midst of them going to war with their own people, like Bellamy, because the guy kissed his sister, he killed him. Okay. They just beating each other. Everyone had a problem with Willis, which is the Thessalonian's son, because he was the commander that was sentencing people to go floating. So he done killed a lot of their parents and siblings and everything. So nobody really liked him. So he had it hard from the time he got off the ship, okay? And he was there trying to be with Clark. Um, what happens is he ended up being killed by a 12-year-old girl because she couldn't live with the fact that his father sent her parents floating, okay, or whatever. So, his life was ended because of his father, okay? And, he shouldn't have never gotten himself in trouble to get to Earth, and he was considered like the elite um, folks, okay, on the ship. So, Bellamy, goes out hunting or whatever. Clark and them come back with food, and they realize Bellamy have the kids taking off their bracelets. And it's like, no, don't take off your bracelet. That's the only way they know that we still alive. But Bellamy don't want them to know that they're still alive because he have a secret agenda. What happens is Bellamy shot the commander. What's his name? Bellamy shot Thessalonian. Okay, on the ark to get on the boat to come to Earth. So he don't want them to know that they're alive and things like that. Like, let them think that we dying so they can stay up there. And what? No, you just messed up my. I'm live. Sorry about the interruption. Where was I at? Kids are so disrespectful. Um, basically, while they on the ark, did I already say that about Thessalonian's son being killed by the 12-year-old? And so they goes out, they find food, they kill this lion thing when they rescued Jasper or whatever it was, a panther, right? So they out eating, and Bellamy's telling Clark and Skywalker like, no, you can't eat if you don't take off your bracelet. And they challenge him. And he's like, I thought I thought we was free. So how are we gonna be free and we can do what we want if we not governed by rules? But you giving us a ultimatum to take off our bracelet if we don't eat. And they caught the thing. You know what I'm saying? So and it was and you could just tell like today when they say, oh, this is a free country, this is that and the third, but we still governed by rules. That was just that little thing playing out. All right. So because Bellamy Hope, why people was looking to him, and he was in some type of position of power with the sky people on earth, because he was like, no, we don't want them to know. We'll let them stay up there because they was going to send us floating. They was about to kill us. Then they send us here like guinea pigs, and now they want to, to if we die, or if they don't know that the earth is sustainable, they're gonna stay up there because they're gonna be scared to come here, yada yada this, yada that. So he has a great point, but at the same time he has a hidden agenda behind it, because he would be in trouble. So um all this is going on, so they had to kind of like get it together. All right. So when they because they was just doing all type of hideous stuff to each other, and then they wanted to call, like I was telling you guys, they wanted to call a truce with the grounders, but you people ain't even got it together. All right. Now there was, I'm just gonna skip to there was like a little war between the grounders and the sky crew. Okay. And what happens is the sky crew locked themselves in the spaceship. They killed off a lot of those grounders with that fire from the spaceship. All right. They shot them up. They killed off a lot of people. Right. So those that wasn't killed, they left. The people from Mount Weather, that was on the ground, those are the people that was living underground, that was stealing the grounders for their blood. Okay. Because they needed their blood to live. The grounders had some type of blood that they lived through radiation and all that type of stuff, so they needed that blood to survive, and that's how they've been surviving on earth, is the grounders blood. Now these people end up coming through some type of tear gas when Clark opened the door, and now they are at Mount Weather. Okay. So by the Mount Weather, Clark looking around like, what's going on? She's not trusting the people at Mount Weather. Jasper and them, they was out, they was in clearance before her, and they like, oh, this is heaven. Like, we eat freely. This is this, that, and the third. Because on the ark, they used to have to go days without eating. So he's really liking it there in Mount Weather, okay? But Clark not trusting. She's not feeling it. Um, so she ended up breaking out of Mount Weather, okay? In the midst of her breaking out of Mount Weather, she's seen a lot, okay? She ended up seeing how they was doing the blood transfusion and things like that, and she was like, okay, they finna start trying to I got something in my head. They're gonna start trying to get us next. This is too good to be true. So she's seen a lot of stuff. They was turning some of those grounders into like pets. Okay, they give them some type of shot injection. They send them through this like treatment. Okay, this breaking of we gonna call it the breaking of a slave. Okay, this was like a Willie Lynch type thing, but not exactly. Okay, they was breaking those slaves. They sent them through this little treatment, psychological, and then they inject them with this stuff like a drug, and they like addicted to it, and they want it. So they have them to they was using them as like they pets to go out and steal the grounders, they own people, okay? Because they whatever it does something to they it take control of the mind. So they out there bringing their people so that they can get this shot, okay? That's how they get rewarded, because they feed them this shot. So that's how the people under the underground people been surviving, okay, underground, because they have the grounders that can um, stay that can actually be on the land. They'll take them and inject them and send them out to bring them other grounders. Okay, now is Clark broke out. I'm trying to make sure I tell you her name right. It's Anya. Okay, she broke Anya out also. Okay, um, Anya just wasn't trusting her. All right, and the grounders they wasn't going, they really didn't trust the sky crew, and she broke out Anya, and Anya ended up trying to take Clark as a prisoner, but then that didn't work out. She ended up, what I'm saying, fighting it. So they ended back up at the ship where they had confiscated the sky crew from, okay? And she realized all her people was gone, okay? Her and Anya had this fight or whatever, whatnot. Now, what happens is, the, while they was into it with Mount Weather, Octavia and Lincoln been seeing each other. Lincoln brings, he this was previous before that he had brought Anya to call a truce, but Anya didn't want to call a truce. Okay, they end up killing some of the grounders then, in that little meeting or whatnot. So it's just not good. It's like everybody against each other, the grounders, the sky people, and Mount Weather, right? Now what happens is they end up calling the truce, and they went to war with Mount Weather. Well, Mount Weather realized that they couldn't win, so they made a deal with Lexa. Lexa is the like the head chief queen of everything. Okay, she's a black blood, and she basically made a deal. And as long as they freed her people, that her and her people was gonna back out. Okay, so they freed the grounders, but not the sky crew. Okay, so the grounders backed out the war with Mount Weather. What happens is Clark stays, and she goes and to free her people. All right. Now Clark ended up becoming the Wanheda after that. Wanheda, um, they basically every tribe had a bounty out for her head. They wanted her because if they kill her, and that means that they'll get the spirit of her. And you know they basically was going to I don't drink the blood or whatever the spirit. Okay, so um now Clark she just does some crazy stuff to me. All right, she left the Sky Crew and she ventured off by herself, and she ended up finding out that she was the one head and they wanted her. Okay, by this time her people out looking for her because they done found out she's the one header. So, Lincoln, who's tied up with the grounders, he has still have grounder friends that told him certain things, but he was considered a traitor, right? So they was gonna kill him anyways. But he basically told him, so they was out trying to find her, and end up running into some more sky people. Okay, by this time they have some of the grounders just on their side, and you have those sky crew that they had just found. the school teacher, the one, the Chinese guy, mother, and different one. Okay, they ran into them, and things turns left. Okay, because they actually, the only thing really sour right now is that they want Clark. Okay, for to gain the spirit of her warrior spirit or whatever. Okay, so, but they really have the grounders that was there at their station. They had a good relationship with them, but those are the sky people. Oh, it went left. Okay, um, they just feel we got to go to war. We got to kill these people and take over the land. And the sky crew that had already called a truce, and there with the grounders, you had Clark that was already um, with one tribe with Alexa. Although Alexa backed out of her, her and Alexa had their little gay relationship going on. Okay, so she stayed back with Lex and him, and that's why she stayed back because Alexa was actually her lover. Okay, and they working on a truce, and that makes you think, like, how they said that how um the Europeans took over is because the African people was marrying and interbreeding with them. This is then the third. How they got allowance and this is then the third. So they right there, it just make you think like, dang, that's kind of deep. All right, Alexa was a black blood, okay, and you always have other black bloods to challenge black bloods for their thrones. This is this, that, and the third. Okay, something like what you see in Wakanda. All right, and to me, this is telling you a message. People looking at it and they like, okay, it's black and um, pink, or white type of people, the indigenous people, the grounders. But I think that's telling you something. The land that they landed on was Africa, because when Jah went out to find the land of the light, all right, um, he ended up becoming Jah, and he was in the desert. Okay, so we know where they was at. Okay, um, so in the midst of where they while she's while she had Clark had become Waheda, but Lexa ended up protecting her. Okay, they having a truce. They like getting a treaty with the Sky people and the indigenous people. Okay, now um, Thessalonians had left to go find the land of the light, and he took 12 people with him. Okay, and he becomes Jah. Now the reason I say that is because like 12 disciples, him 12, then he come back on this whole spiritual trip trying to get people to take this chip or this whatever it was, and it downloads their memory, and you had this woman that was like a god. Okay, because she was thinking for all these thousands of people at one time. Okay, but they really they wasn't thanking for themselves. They was praying to this intelligent force, and it was located out of space. And it's something like religion, because that's what they tell you. You look at God out of space, like, so it's, I don't want to just go too far. You just gotta see it. You just gotta see it. Okay. um yeah, so all that is going on, and while the other sky people that they have just found is back with um the sky crew. Okay, they are basically don't want to trust the grounders. What happens is one of the Mount Weather people had got loose, all right, and they had some of the people from the sky people that they had just ran into. It wasn't enough room for them at the sky crew place, so they was going to Mount Weather to stay and to use their equipment at Mount Weather, because they had like a great deal of equipment for medical this that and the third. Okay, so they goes there to stay, and he it gets blown up. Okay, but y'all just got to see how that happened. Like, I'm telling y'all bits and pieces, but it's like more to like when you see it, it's like, oh my goodness, this just happened. So they that happens, and um now this is putting them back at war because now the sky people isn't trusting the grounders. They like the grounds have to dead. Everybody in Mount Weather is dead. Had to been a grounder. This, that, and the third. So Alexa sent troops to protect the sky people. Okay, and what happens is the high headed sky crew goes and shoots, kills all the people that was sent to protect them. So when Lexa and Clark get there to tell them the good news, Lexa won um, between her and that king guy that she was fighting with. So they didn't have nothing to worry about because if he won, then it was going to be a slaughter of the Sky Crew. So she won, and they get there to see that the Sky Crew had killed these people, and they basically like you know she they end up getting some inside intel, and it's like, hey, um, this guy took over. He's the commander now, and basically, he hot headed. So they was basically like, if you surrender him, then we won't kill all of you. Okay. So yeah, it was just like just they just kept breaking trust. Like, oh my goodness. They just could the Sky Crew just could not get it right. They couldn't get on one accord and they kept doing stuff to the grounders, okay? Like kept doing stuff. Just like now how they still doing stuff to the indigenous people. Yeah, it's the same thing. So, um let's just I'm gonna skip a big piece so you can see it because like it gets really 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 good. Okay. um the little battle with that little thing that was taking over their mind. I'll tell you a little piece about Raven. Okay. Raven was very 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 good with technology and everything. So the thing was taking over her mind because it needed her to help finish what it has done, because that's how the world ended the first time. This this god, this thing that Jah had brought back that was taking over, okay, the minds and everything of everybody. So basically when when she realized what was going on and she wanted to stop and get that out of her head, she ended up coming up with a way to take it out, and they had to do like a exorcism to get it out. So you just got to see it. I'm trying to tell y'all without telling y'all, okay? um it was so good. It was like, oh my goodness, this was a great show. um yeah. So they end up going out of space, and they supposed to have been there for 10 years, but their friend, what is his name, Hopper, Hopper was the Monty, I think his name was Monty. Monty and Hopper stayed up when everybody else went to sleep. They're supposed to have been asleep for 10 years and get up so they could go back to Earth, but Earth wasn't ready. So he reset their timer. So they end up sleeping longer and the Earth wasn't ready. So he ended up cracking the code that Raven was trying to crack, the code three, to see what was going on. And what happened was they had found another planet, all right? Um, because they had sucked all the oil out of the earth. Now the the earth the oil in the earth would be considered like the earth's blood, okay? So they took all the blood out the earth. No more, okay? So the earth didn't it just took so many shots that it wasn't coming back, okay? And that's what they doing now. They taking all the earth, all the blood out of Mother Earth, okay? Um and so they found this new planet. And he was like, he had grew old. They had preserved himself in this little sleeping thing when they went to go be like the sleepwalkers or whatever, okay? They had got preserved, and so they didn't age or anything. And we just gotta wait. That's the end of season 5 to see what's gonna happen. I skipped a big dent in a lot of stuff, but y'all just have to see it. It's so good. Like this show, that's a great show. That's all I can say. All right, people. I'm gonna get out of here. You guys take care. Let me know what you think about the show. Toodles.